Greetings, runners. Ephemeral here. Marathon doesn't need to be for everybody. Bungie already said that. The problem is, right now, it might not be for enough people. There's a huge conversation happening around Marathon. The game needs more casual players. And most of the solutions I'm seeing are make it easier, add PvE, reduce punishment. But as someone who actually is a casual player, that's not what I want. I don't need the game to be easier. I want to enjoy spending time with it. Joe Ziegler said, "This game isn't for everybody." And honestly, I agree with that. Not every game needs to appeal to everyone. But there's a difference between a game that isn't for everybody and a game that limits itself to such a very small group of players. Here's the issue. Casual players need to feel like their time in the game is producing something. That something can be quest progress, faction progress, a small loot gain, some retained resource. If none of that happens, the game doesn't feel hardcore, it feels pointless. Here's what my experience actually looks like. I load into a match, I get immediately deleted by a player I never even saw, and then the run ends. No contracts completed, almost no faction progress, no loot, a total loss. That's not tension, that's not meaningful risk, that's a non-experience. I'm not making decisions, I'm not learning systems, I'm not even engaging with the game. I'm just fodder for players who are actually playing it. People keep saying the issue is gear fear. But gear fear assumes I've had enough success to build something worth losing. I haven't. If I'm dying instantly every match, I'm not gaining gear. I'm not extracting with gear. I'm not progressing factions, so I'm not getting faction level up gear, and I'm not completing contracts, so I'm not getting gear rewards from contracts. So there's nothing to fear. There's just no progress. And this is where the conversation gets a little bigger than Marathon, because Bungie has made this mistake before. Look at Destiny. Some of the best content they ever created, the raids, were also some of the least accessible. They were tuned around prestige, mastery, and especially the contest mode. That created incredible moments for the top players and streamers, but most players never got to meaningfully experience that content. A perfect example is Salvation's Edge. It had something like a 0.003% completion rate on day one. And that's not just difficult, that's inaccessible. And that creates a problem. Everyone can admire the content, but most players never actually get to touch it. The solution isn't to remove the difficulty, it's to remove the barrier to participation. Design the raid for the race, keep contest mode, keep the prestige, but after that, open the doors. Add more accessible versions. Let players explore it, let them experience the best content in the game. Destiny already did that to some extent. They have contest mode on launch, they introduce hard modes or challenge modes, and then they have the base normal mode. Unfortunately, that normal mode also happens to be inaccessible for most players. They did introduce an explorer mode for a few of the dungeons with the Rite of the Nine. This allowed basically anybody to go into the dungeons and experience what Bungie had created. I wish that they would have introduced an explorer mode for every raid in Destiny. That should have been the model, not anti-hardcore, just anti-exclusion. And this is what I want from Marathon, anti-exclusion. To be clear, I actually think Bungie is moving in the right direction. The recent update added expanded access to the perimeter map for solos up to level 12, reducing early player encounters, and holding players' hands with a few more contracts to walk them into the game. They've also increased some XP and faction gains for solo players, and they've introduced several systems that reward cooperation. I think this is huge because it shows they understand the goal. Players need to feel like their time matters. I'm genuinely hopeful that these bigger XP and faction gains will start to make each run feel more valuable even when you fail. I am a little less excited about the carry system and all the systems that seem to be rewarding cooperation. I'm unsure that it's going to change the core gameplay loop of Marathon. And right now, If those early protections fall off, a lot of players are going to go right back to spawning, dying, and leaving with nothing. And if that keeps happening, they're not going to stick around. So here's one fix I suggest. Let players leave with something. Not everything, not safety, not immunity, just something. Maybe it's a small resource stack, maybe it's partial contract progress, maybe it's a limited safe pocket item you keep even if you die. Arc Raiders has a safe pocket. It doesn't eliminate hardcore PvP players from having their fun. It does reward casual players for their time investment. Because now, even if you lose, you still participated, you still made progress, and the game feels worth your time. Marathon doesn't need to be for everybody, but it needs to be for more people than it is right now. And I think that's the real challenge Bungie is facing. Not making Marathon easier, but making it a game that more people can actually enjoy spending time with.